1992. Interior bar afternoon. Ice melts in whiskey in a glass on a bar. A phone lying beside the glass begins to ring. A right fist comes to rest beside the phone. It clenches then relaxes. A hand picks up the phone. Hello dear. Are you going to be home for dinner? No, not finished with work yet. Well, shocker. Right. More overtime, I suppose. You really have to put your foot down with these people, John. I am completely fed up with this. Okay. Okay. I'd like for you to tell the district manager that these late nights are not acceptable going forward. Uh-huh. And please pick up a gallon of milk from Ingles on your way home. The store might be closed though. God. That late? Yeah, it's gonna take a while. In that case I guess you can grab a half gallon at Quick Check. Now what do we say? Love you. I love you, John. Goodbye. Bye. Johnny sets the phone back on the bar. He mouths the word, damn, and raises the glass to his lips. A man twirling an oversized keychain walks up. Holy shit, she let you out. Hollis pulls up a stool and sits by Johnny. A tour in Operation Desert Ass Whoop, an IED to the head, and I'm still standing. I come back home and get sweet-talked into marrying this vain, life-sucking, jealous harpy, and she'll be the death of me. I tell you what, Hollis, I am about to lose my shit, son. Damn, bro. That sucks. She is on me like a fat kid on cake. 24/7. Always up my ass about what I'm doing every second. Did I do this? Did I do that? How do I look? Am I too skinny? Does this top make me look too flat? Nah, babe, that's the kind of woman I like. Bone skinny and flat as a board. I might as well have married a bipolar dude. Ha. 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 Oh shit. Several men walk by the bar towards the pool table. Hollis gestures just as they pass, as if they should be scared of him. They don't take notice. And jealous? You wouldn't believe it. John, did you flirt with any women today? I saw you look at that waitress. You probably want to screw her, don't you? And on and on and on. You know, as far as I can tell, most women aren't into the Frankenstein look. He taps his head where a thick scar transects his forehead. Yeah, lick my plate, you dog dick. Hollis gestures with his finger twisted into a hang shape he uses to pretend scratch an old head wound. Johnny gives him a stern look. I'm just playing, bro. If she'd let it go a little more often, maybe she wouldn't be so worried about my fooling around, which I haven't. I haven't had sex in 2 months. Dangerfield thought he got no respect. He should walk a mile in my shoes. Dude, that's crazy. You have got to man up, kid. Why be married with no benefits? Maybe you should. Hollis pauses and holds up an escort business card. Should what? Fool around. Are you nuts, man? I can't afford to give up half my shit. A town this size, she'd be onto me in a hot second. Nah, man. I'm talking about a professional. Hollis slides the card across the bar. Johnny picks it up to inspect it. What the hell is this? Johnny picks up the card and eyes it. You know, a pro. A working girl. They were handing 'em out at the video store the other night. Which video store you talking about? Johnny chuckles and smiles at his friend. Alley Cats, over on Central. I've got the super deluxe VIP membership over there, for real. You better be careful. You'll go blind. Don't worry about that. Anyways, all I'm saying is that the pros are discreet. You could call in an order for delivery back at your office. You come. She goes. Slamawamajama. Problem solved. Hell, bitch is none the wiser. Johnny laughs and shakes his head before finishing off his drink. Yeah, but I'd know. I got to get back to the office. That quarterly paperwork isn't going to finish itself. You're a sad man, Johnny boy. A sad man. He tracks Johnny, who waves and heads for the door, then picks up the card Johnny left on the bar. He inspects it closely. He looks up toward the payphone on the wall. Smiles and nods as if to himself. Ext dusk. Johnny drives his convertible back to the office as the sun sets on the city in the background. His phone rings in the passenger seat. He inspects the number but doesn't answer. Ext warehouse night. Johnny's car pulls up and parks in front. He gets out and enters the building. Ext sidewalk night. A young girl smacks her chewing gum in the receiver of a payphone. She's goth all over, looking like a Material Girl video reject. Number 16, Pony Street. Got it? She'll be there within the hour. She hangs up and steps away from the phone booth's light. She holds out the note as if unsure where to look. Her hair is blown as if fanned by a fast-moving object. Over her shoulder a shadowy shape looms in the darkness, looking like a ghostly white face floating in the darkness. I've got another. She pauses and drinks in the fragrance of her idol, then quietly finishes her sentence in a whisper. Appointment for you. A slender hand with long black nails caresses her face seductively. A fingernail trails over her pursed lips, taking her breath. She offers up the note. This one is a referral from that drunk I hooked over at Alley Cat's the other night. Most nights you can find him getting shit-faced down at the Keg and Q. It sounded like he was calling from the bar phone. The hand gently pulls the note from her grip. Ariel's hair is fanned by quick motion again, and she sighs, basking in the afterglow of her idol. Int warehouse office night. Johnny signs, dates, and stamps some miscellaneous form. He opens his desk drawer and reaches inside. He pushes a handgun aside and pulls out what a stapler, leaving the drawer half open. The phone rings, startling him. He picks it up, not answering, and growls into it. Women please. The phone rings once more before he silences it. Johnny refocuses on his paperwork. Exterior city street night. A drunken Hollis ambles happily along, mumbling the lyrics to some 80s metal tune and twirling his keychain. Suddenly his feet are knocked out from under him. His brown-bagged booze bottle is smashed on the sidewalk. Presuming he tripped, Hollis is mostly concerned by the loss of his liquor. Damn it. Hollis whines and tries to salvage the bottle, picking up the fragment-filled bag. A black shape dashes past him, knocking the bag from his hand, stunning the man. Hey. Hey. It's not like I have another bottle on me, asshole. You are killing my buzz, you son of a. The words trail off as Hollis realizes that something is wrong. He looks down to see that his belly is sliced open. A tiny bit of intestine has slipped out. Oh Lord have mercy. You've messed me up real bad. Hollis whimpers and whines as he attempts to stuff his escaping guts back in. Beyond Hollis we see a shadowy figure looking on. Hollis becomes aware of his attacker and begins to back away and breaks into a shambling run, all the while holding his guts and looking back for his pursuer. Oh. Oh God, please help me. Ext alley night. Hollis turns down a blind alley, knocking over trash cans and boxes as he goes. Moments later blood and guts land on the brick alley wall. Beside Hollis's bloody shoe we see the escort business card from before. We hear a gurgling drinking sound. A severed arm is dropped beside the shoe. A shape flashes past and the card is gone. Int warehouse office night. A knock on the door diverts Johnny's attention from the paperwork covering his desk. He walks towards the door, glancing at his watch, then thinks better of it and walks back to his desk. He retrieves the gun from the drawer and slips it into his rear waistband. He walks back to the door and after peeping through the security hole opens it. A young woman with long hair wearing a club dress is waiting on the other side of the door. Can I help you? I'm Srafine. Johnny gives her a funny look. Srafin. Okay, how can I help you? Did you have a flat or something? I'm here for you. She gives him a demure smile. I'm sorry, what? We have a date, yes. A date? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's okay. Your friend paid already? She hands over her card, which is identical to the one he saw at the bar. Holy crap. That Hollis is such a dumbass. Look, miss, I'm sorry but there's been a misunderstanding. I won't be needing your services, I mean company. I am really sorry you wasted your time coming all the way out here. The girl looks disappointed. Are you sure? I have been compensated already and of course there can be no refund. Johnny pauses briefly, sneaking a glance of her up and down, then shakes his head. Yes, I'm sure. Sorry for the mix-up. Srafin lingers in the doorway. I don't mean to be rude, but I have a lot of work left to do before I go home tonight. I really need to get back to it. I understand. I won't take any more of your time, but as you know, it's a long way back. Could I use your lady's room? Johnny looks a bit annoyed as he gestures in the direction of the bathrooms. Srafin smiles and looks in the direction he pointed. She doesn't step inside. I'm a foreigner to your country. Are you inviting me in? Yes, come in. The bathrooms are over there. Please make it quick. Lovely. You are kind. I'll only be a moment. She enters and swiftly walks off to the bathroom. Johnny returns to his desk and has a seat. He lifts a stack of papers as his phone rings. Upon seeing the number, he quickly silences the phone. He picks up a framed photo of himself and his buddies taken in Iraq. You used to be a life taker and a heartbreaker. What happened to you? Hearing the sound of heels approaching down the hallway, Johnny stands up to see his guest out. Something blows up the papers on his desk. He looks for a source of the disturbance, but none is apparent. You know, I knew you were a good man before you opened the door. Pure of heart. I could smell it. It's intoxicating actually. Srafin stands smiling, barring the doorway. Lady, what the hell are you on about? Pure of heart with a touch of self-loathing. Simply divine. I usually have to sustain myself on obstreperous perverts. Filling, but not the same. She examines her overlong nails. Are you high right now? Johnny puts his hands on his hips. I've tried to be polite. I even let you use the facilities, but now you need to go. Silly human. Your death is staring you straight in the eyes and you refuse to see it. I didn't come here to screw you, I came here to eat you. The woman's face seems to bulge into a beast-like form and pointed fangs protrude from her canines. She bares them. Johnny, his soldier training kicking in, reaches for the gun in his rear waistband. Looking for this? She pulls his weapon from her pocketbook and brandishes it in a playful fashion. Dropping the pocketbook, the vampire walks him down, gun dangling by her side. Johnny grabs a letter opener from the desk and rushes forward to attack the vampire. A competent-looking attack is easily outmatched by the faster, stronger vampire. Srafin holds up the battered man and drinks deeply from his neck. She takes the wallet from his pants and steps back a few steps before shooting him point blank in the forehead. Johnny falls back onto his chair, which splinters apart from the impact. She rifles through the cards and cash in his wallet as she turns toward the door. A PayPal MasterCard and $12 cash. This guy is sadder than I. A wooden chair leg fragment explodes from her chest. She shakes uncontrollably. The flesh begins to fall away as she slumps to the floor. A battered Johnny stands behind her with his makeshift stake. The bullet hole in his forehead reveals a shiny plate from his war wound underneath. Take that. The phone in his pocket starts to ring. He takes it out and answers hastily. What? I told you, I'll be home when my work is finished. When I get there I expect a hot dinner to be waiting for me. And none of that frozen shit either. There are going to be some changes around here, lady, and if you don't like them, well, that's just tough. I love you, but I'm done taking your shit. Your days of walking on this old boy are over. Bye bye. He hangs up the phone and calmly returns it to his pocket. He stares into space. Fade to black. Credits roll. Exterior shady residential street night. We see a man's torso strolling casually down a neighborhood sidewalk, whistling a metal tune and twirling a large keychain. The end. 1831 The American Midwest. Night, the deep woods. The moonlit American woods are disturbed by a bolt of lightning. Underbrush ignites and something is jostled awake among the roots of the great trees. It climbs to the surface and flies about the forest awkwardly, at incredible speed. Night, the Algonquian camp. The dashing entity intersects a small encampment of Algonquian. From face to face it runs to and through, leaving each human it tries to interface with a bloody exploded mass. Last it comes to a beautiful young Algonquian woman. The brown of her horrified eyes reflect a ghastly face closing on her. Ah! The young woman stands in a circle of dead natives, by the fire. She screams until her voice fails. She is covered in the blood of her tribe from head to toe. Night, Prairie Hillside Camp. A man in his early 40s unsaddles his horse while his wife nearby tends a pot of stew boiling over an open fire and absently combs her hair with a wooden brush. The horse becomes nervous and disquiet. It's getting colder. Lawrence, do you suppose we'll reach Fort Wayne within a fortnight? I do. No need to worry your wee head. How's that supper coming? He smiles at her until something steals his attention. He eyes the darkness at the edge of the firelight curiously as he pats his horse to calm him. It's just that, well, it's getting colder and I worry for the baby. The horse neighs again, prompting the man to slowly withdraw his firearm. Be silent, woman. Something's watching us. He whispers. The baby cries from within the tent. Seraphine dashes inside to comfort the child. Night, inside the tent. Shadows are projected on the tent from the firelight as Seraphine holds the child to her bosom attempting to quiet it. A shadow presentation plays like a film on the tent wall. Lawrence backpedaling past the horse with his gun drawn. An inhumanly low, guttural growl is heard as the shadow of the horse is torn into two halves which fall limply away to reveal the shadow, something almost human in shape but impossible. Her fear has her paralyzed for a moment as two gunshots ring out. Their light flashes on the tent wall. The baby won't be consoled and continues to cry loudly. Curiosity finally spurs her to poke her head out of the tent to see what is attacking. Night, Prairie Hillside Camp. Seraphine emerges from the tent. In front of her she sees her husband Lawrence covered in horse blood firing his remaining rounds at something. As his hammer falls on an empty chamber he turns to look at her with a helpless expression. Too fast for her to turn and see what he is shooting at, something flies into him. A blur too fast for the eye strikes him in the chest. Then the impossible horror stands before her for what seems like an eternity, but only seconds in reality. Lawrence is severed at midriff. His legs try to take a step before noticing they have no body to carry. They fall over, spilling steaming guts onto the grass. She tries to scream but nothing comes out. She looks around to see what has killed her husband. She can barely make out a half-naked humanoid shape, just outside the fire's influence, but her mind won't process what it's doing. The creature seems to be drinking the marrow from a detached arm. She runs no more than a few steps when the creature intercepts her with superhuman speed. It lifts her to a face too horrible to believe and breathes directly onto her ever-reddening visage. The edges of her vision start to ring in black and the baby slips from her grasp. A monstrous hand catches the bundle before it hits the ground. There is no crying. The horrible thing pulls her closer and unceremoniously bites off her face and half of her head. The woman's now limp body crumples onto the prairie grass. Day burial mound. A feral girl of approximately 10, clad in filthy rags, pokes at a fire with a stick. Behind her a mound of fresh dirt climbs up from the prairie floor. She seems sad. Day the tall woods. Anjini, the Algonquian girl, leads the young girl by the hand, along a foot trail. Both are smiling and happy for the moment. Day hillside camp remnants. Anjini stoops to pick up an aged wooden brush. She briefly illustrates its usage on the girl's hair. She then places the brush in her hand. She turns the child's hand palm up and traces letters burned into the handle. Serapphine. In the language of the 100 tribes, I have not heard this word. This belonged to your mother, child. Now it is yours. The girl smiles and inspects the brush letters more closely. What does it mean? I do not know, little one, but it is your name now. You can decide what it means. You are beautiful, so it can mean, beautiful. She pauses and looks sad. But your eyes burn with anger, so it may also mean, little burning one. You decide. The girl looks suddenly angry. Anjini smiles and leads the child onward. Day Indian Mound Fortress. Anjini leads her across an open field by a riverside and into a crude wooden fort. They explore the fortress with Anjini pointing here and there and explaining about her life before she was taken. Day Ceremonial Fortress Mound. The two friends play on the side of the mound, eventually resting at the top, looking out across the river basin. I wish you could stay with me all the time. Why do you leave me alone? The girl's mood turns sour. Anjini is slow to lose her smile and shines benevolently on as she tries to explain. Because I have no power to be with you when he comes, little burning one. I am like the wind when he wakes. Can't you please kill it? Anjini's face turns serious. Do not think of such things. One cannot kill a god. He is the Ujjig and you are only a girl. You only live because he allows it. Remember that. Anjini leaps to her feet and walks away, leaving the girl sitting alone at the top of the mound. Sunset Burial Mound. The girl continues to poke the fire as we see a beast slowly claw its way out of the fresh dirt mound and stand up, shaking off the soil. It looks around and finds a rotting leg to its liking and begins to chew upon it. The girl continues to poke at the fire as if nothing has happened. Night Prairie Cabin. Gun blasts pour light out of the windows. Screams of anguish sound out through the night. Bodies are hurled into walls and earthenware is broken, but we only hear it from outside the little cabin. The hideous creature emerges carrying a half-eaten torso with it. Night Burial Mound. Little burning one is thrown on the ground. A disembodied arm is thrown at her. The beast grunts for her to eat it. She tries to refuse, but when the creature's wrath grows into a horrible growl, she capitulates and nibbles briefly on the meat. Dawn Burial Mound. Little burning one pats down the dirt that has freshly covered the mound and her master, the Ujjig. Flies crawl over her from the nearby rotting meat. When she finishes her work, she stands and screams at the sky. Day Riverside. Little burning one, now grown to the age of 17, throws rocks into the stream. Behind her we see the shape of Anjini materialize. In her hands she cups blackberries. Anjini, as young and beautiful as she ever was, hasn't aged a day. She holds the fruit out in offering to the now young woman. Here, child, eat something pure. The girl seems bored but does as she is bided. All this time, the days come and go and I remain his slave. She sighs. Anjini looks baffled. Time. What do you know of time? Did you know that my people have no word for time? You only know of it because I glimpsed it in your mother's mind. The girl turns to give her a burning gaze. It's true. Sometimes when he is awake I can see flashes of people and their dreams like ripples on still water. I am not as weak as I once was. Little burning one, I beg you to forget these things and be happy for the life you still have. She reaches to embrace the girl, but is pushed aside. With anger in her eyes, the girl lashes out. Don't call me that. My name is Srafin. One day I will grow strong enough to kill that thing. I swear it. And Genie floats away in the wind and the girl is left alone sobbing against a tree by the riverside. Night the tall woods. The beast stalks after screaming settlers through the woods. Men stagger backwards firing primitive firearms into the unknown darkness. One man is looking upward when he is grasped about the head by monstrous hands and lifted into the trees. Another man is grasped by monster hands at the shoulders and ripped in half down the middle. A woman's bloodied torso is thrown against a tree. A man screams as the creature's foot steps on him, caving in his chest. Night burial mound. Srafin, fully grown, stands by a sloppily dug grave in the center of the mound. The creature approaches as the sky begins to lighten. The monster steps in, but pauses as he passes close by her face. He looks into her eyes malevolently. She slinks away, as if his stare is too hot to tolerate. He growls openly at her and proceeds to lie down in the shallow grave. She covers him with the use of crude digging tools made of stick and stone. As soon as the last bit of dirt is in place, she runs to the nearby woods as fast as her feet will carry her. Day nearby woods. Srafin hastily uncovers a bundle of sharpened sticks and crude stone tomahawks. There's also a settler's iron axe. She gathers them up in an awkward bunch and ferries them quickly back to the mound. Dawn burial mound. Srafin runs onto the mound and positions her weapons all around in a loose circle. After planting the last one, she turns around to see Genie standing in the middle of the mound. She's emotionally drained to face her mother of all these years, knowing that today one of them must die. Please, do not do this. Srafin begins to cry softly. I know that this will be the end of you. After everything he has taken from me, now he takes you. Genie grins and barely holds back a laugh. You think I'm concerned for myself? As long as he lives I am bound here. I cannot go to the hunting lodge of my people. That I remain is the last harm that he can do to me, but you still live. He can kill you. He will kill you and not swiftly. You are as my child. I cannot bear to see your light undone. The two draw closer together. Oh mother, I'd rather die than to live another day like this. I can't go on this way. One way or the other this has to end. Genie stretches out her arms. Then so be it. The two embrace and look into each other's eyes for their final goodbye. Genie draws in a long clean breath and looks all about her at the world once final time. He doesn't like the sunlight, but that's not enough to end his power. You must destroy the heart. His power to hold form lies in his heart, in my heart. She snatches Srafin in a close embrace, burying the girl's weeping face in her shoulder. I will kill him, I swear. We will be free before the sun falls this day. My people will hold a place for you in their lodge. I will wait for you there. I love you so much. She pulls back to see that Genie has evaporated. A tiny voice on the wind says, I love you. Day burial mound. As Srafin scoops the last bit of dirt off the creature's face, he explodes up to a standing position and immediately clutches his eyes as if they are on fire. Srafin, knocked back to the edge of the mound, grabs the nearest sharpened stick and with a running charge slams it home in the creature's torso. It barely winces, occupied instead by its melting eyes. She uses the distraction to land two more sticks ever closer to the heart. The monster uses one hand to start plucking the sticks from its body one at a time. Realizing that she needs to stop him from pulling all the makeshift spears out, Srafin retrieves the axe and hacks viciously at the shoulder of the arm working on the stick removal. This time, she gets the beast's full attention. It closes its eyes and latches onto her with its good arm and draws her in close. She manages to bring another sharp stick with her. The monster's mouth clamps shut on her shoulder just as the sharpened staff slips between its ribs and into its black heart. The beast is ended like a flame suffocated, as the heart is pierced. Lacking the life to close the bite, her neck is left intact, only badly lacerated. The two combatants fall to the ground on the earthen mound. Black lines spread across Seraphina's ruined neck and shoulder, and she passes out next to Angini, whose body has returned to human form once more and carries the wounds of their battle. Night burial mound. When Seraphina's eyes open, she is in agony. Now the black lines have spread across her face and her eyes have turned white. Beside her she hears the soft sigh of her friend's last few breaths. She feels something in her mouth has changed. Her face has changed and she can see in new colors. She looks at Angini's broken body and sees that somehow her heart still beats ever so slightly. She can see it like a glowing red coal inside of her tiny body. She crawls over to her and begins plucking out the sticks that protrude from her abdomen. Angini looks up into her eyes and tries to mouth some words, but she hasn't the breath. Seraphine places her ear to Angini's lips in time to hear her final words. For you. Angini, with much effort, tilts her head back, exposing her neck. Seraphine yawns wide to reveal animalistic fangs before sinking them into her friend's neck and drinking deeply. Night exterior fog of time. Seraphine, in her animal skin clothing, walks in a cloud of fog. All around her people walk by in all directions. To begin with, they have clothing of early American fashion. The styles beginning to change, moving ever forward in time. The 1930s, the 50s, the 70s, and onward. Night warehouse restroom. Johnny presses down the last piece of tape securing the bandage on his forearm. He checks the bandage on his neck, dries his face with his ruined shirt and tosses it in the trash. He tucks the golden cross on his necklace inside his wife beater, throws his jacket over his hood and exits the room. Night interior Johnny's living room. The doorbell rings and Johnny's wife, Katie, answers the door to find Hollis waiting. What do you want? Do you know how late it is? It's a weeknight and some of us work for a living. Well, nice to see you too, sweetheart. He squeezes by her and enters the living room. John's not here. Oh, I know, but that's cool, I'll wait for him. All right. Whatever. There's the TV. There's the couch. If you need something to drink, you know where the fridge is. She huffs and stomps off to another room. Night interior Johnny's car. Johnny looks pensive as he drives. He rubs his face several times to ensure that he's awake. He picks up his phone and looks through it for a contact. Night interior Johnny's living room. Hollis sits on the couch and flips through the channels on the TV. Oh sweet. There's a cheesy-looking horror movie on cable. He says too loud for the time of night. He kicks back on the couch. So Kate, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, hon, so don't shoot the messenger, but John wanted me to tell you, he's gonna have to let you go. This draws stomping feet as Katie storms back into the room. Hollis, what the hell are you talking about? You better start making sense or I'm gonna tell John to kick your ass when he gets here. The man on her couch drops the boyish expression and turns to glance at her menacingly. Oh yeah, he's completely sick of your shit. You're done. Out of here. Fired. Quitted. Let go. He smiles, but there's something unnatural about his teeth. Night exterior Johnny's garage. The garage door rolls up. Johnny's vehicle pulls in and the door starts back down. Just before it gets halfway, Johnny pops out and walks up to his front door. Night interior Johnny's living room. Johnny enters the front door and sees Hollis on the couch watching TV. Hollis, you dumbass. You have no idea the shit you've got me into. He lowers his voice considerably. That bitch you sent over nearly killed my ass. Ha. Ha. Yeah, I know. Isn't she great? Honey brown hair, an ass that won't quit and legs that go all the way up. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you aren't hearing me. I mean, she is a grade A worker and I ain't lying. No, no, no. Shut up. Just shut the hell up. She actually tried to murder me. She thought she was a vampire or something. Somehow she David blamed my own weapon and shot me in my plate. He points to his bandaged forehead. He seems to doubt his own sanity and he drifts for a second in silence. It's a freaking miracle I'm not dead right now. She was fast. So fast. I had to kill her. Hollis seems to lose interest and turns back to his horror movie. It was self-defense, wasn't it? She did shoot me. That was real. Now that's just crazy talk, Johnny boy. Come check this out. There's a crazy ass movie on. It's like all horror subgenres rolled into one. In the last 10 minutes I've seen ninjas, a Cthulhu monster, a werewolf, and what's supposed to be a vampire. Only this is one of those bald-headed, pointy-eared Nosferatu rip-offs. Like vampires really look like that. Ha! Johnny absently gazes at the television in time to see a bald vampire get his head cut off by a blind swordsman. I think I'm losing my damn mind. He holds his head, which is obviously aching badly. Well, I have some good news and some bad news for you, House. The good news is, you aren't losing your mind. The bad news, and it's good news too really, is this. Your number is up, Chief. You can look at it this way. You used to play on a team of real losers. Now you're going to be on Team Hollis. He smiles and thumbs his own cheek. And Team Hollis kicks mucho ass, brother. No more working for the man. No more taking people's shit. What the hell are you on about? I'm talking party all night and sleep all day. No more nagging, wife. Just then Johnny notices the toe of his wife's shoe barely visible beyond the end of the coffee table. Katie. He rushes to his wife's side in disbelief. She's laying in a pool of her own blood. What did you do? Oh my God. What the hell did you do? He cradles his dead wife's head in his hands and looks up pleadingly to Hollis, who is now standing with his shoulders shrugged. What? Man, I did you favor. That bitch has been nothing but a thorn in your side since the day you met her. Things'll be much better now. You son of a bitch. He screams at Hollis and rushes him in an attempt to choke him. Hollis allows Johnny's hands to almost close on his throat before grabbing his throat in a superhuman grasp and raising him off of his feet. Johnny sputters and gags, trying to pull the vampire's hands apart. His feet kick as he is helplessly suspended by the neck. Now, I wanted you to be cool about this, but we can do it the hard way since you want to be a killjoy. Don't worry, Johnny boy. It's good. You're gonna love it. Johnny's eyes roll back in his head as he starts to lose consciousness. Bullets explode through Hollis's torso and he drops Johnny. The new vampire is taken by surprise and is knocked down briefly. Off-duty police officer Ray Hallenbeck walks through the now shattered front glass doors. What in 20 hells is going on? John, are you all right? He starts to help Johnny off the floor when he notices movement in the direction of the perp. Hollis hops to his feet and growls, his face full of razor-sharp teeth. That hurt and you ruined my Absolute Zero shirt. This was mint. You can't buy these anymore, asshole. Ray unloads the rest of his clip, only knocking Hollis back a step. Bullets don't work, fucker. He runs over to the policeman who's desperately trying to reload and takes his head off in a single swipe. Waste not. Want not. He grabs the now headless body and directs the spurting blood into his mouth. Johnny retrieves a clear pyramid sculpture that the scuffle overturned from the floor. With a running start he impales both Hollis and his policeman neighbor's body to the nearby wall. Ah! Son of a bitch. The vampire tries to pull himself free but isn't strong enough. Johnny turns and leaves the room. Off-screen we hear a door open and footsteps ascending a few steps. Seconds later they return and Johnny re-enters the room carrying a machete. Ah! Johnny slams home the machete penetrating half of Hollis's neck. Ah! Johnny boy, wait. Now just wait. We can work this out, brother. Johnny doesn't pause. Instead he rips out the machete and takes another hack. This time it makes it through the neck. He drops bloodied blade and sinks to his knees in a daze. He drops his head in confusion. His wife sits up behind him. John, did you flirt with any women today? Johnny snaps his head up. His eyes are hyper alert. His hand grabs the machete. 1988, the American Midwest. Int warehouse office night. The blood pooled next to a female torso in a red dress is drawn back into the body as if by suction. The woman's brown eyes, now human in nature, pop open and she draws in breath sharply. Night City Street. A sleek figure in a tight dress walks down a city sidewalk. She stops and sniffs the air. Night interior bathroom. How could you leave me? She holds a photo of a young man and a toddler. She tosses a handful of pills into her mouth and washes them down with liquor. She doesn't notice the figure at the window looking on until the woman taps on the window with her long nails. May I enter? Ariel reacts with a drugged smile. Sure. Help yourself. I don't need any of this shit. She tries to gesture around the bedroom, but the exertion only seems to make the drugs kick in harder. Her knees buckle and she starts to faint. A blast of air pushes the window curtains and Srafin is standing in front her to catch her before she hits the floor. She holds the half-conscious girl and glances around the room at the trappings of a home shattered by tragedy. She lifts the dying girl's face in her hand. Is this what you want? You can live through this. What? Do you want to live? The girl starts crying openly. Yes. Yes, I want to live. Srafin curls a first and punches Ariel in the diaphragm, hard. Ariel crashes to her knees and pukes long and hard. There you go. Get it all out. Maybe we should try aiming at the toilet. She lifts the girl and helps her to the toilet. Night int, living room. How do you feel? Well, my stomach aches and my throat hurts like a bitch from all the vomit. Other than that, physically I'm fine. Emotionally, I can't feel anything right now. The girl stares blankly at the floor. I've been there. I know what that's like. Are you going to be okay? Honestly, I don't know. I never really decided to kill myself, but the heartache was just too much. I couldn't see a way around. She looks at Srafin. I should thank you. I don't think I'm ready to die. Look, sister, the universe just took a big crap on you when your family was taken. It's not fair, and frankly it pisses me off that you did nothing to deserve it, yet, here you. I guess I'd just like to ask you, why do you care? It's because a long time ago, for absolutely no reason, my life, the life that I should have had, was taken from me by God, or the universe, or whatever you believe in. I was literally cast into darkness forever, and I'm mad as hell about it. This time I was in a position to make a difference, at least for you. The girl wipes her eyes. Well, I'm glad you did. The two women continue to talk through the night until dawn approaches. The sun is almost up and I don't do mornings. I need to head home. Are you going to be? Is there any way you could stay? I wish I could be. There are too many windows here. You see, I have a really nasty skin condition called protoporphyria. Oh, I've heard of that before. Sensitivity to bright lights, right? My husband was a dermatologist. He came home one night during his internship all excited about a case of it he'd ran into. Yeah, that's it. She nods. Ariel suddenly looks surprised. These lights are bright. Is it bothering your skin? No, these are fine, But sunlight can be a real bitch. We're talking lesions and sores if even a little bit of it touches me. I guess that would explain the porcelain skin. That much have tough to deal with growing up. Srafin stands to leave. You have no idea. I would love to tell you all about it, but dawn's a-coming and I really need to be undercover when it gets here. Ariel looks disappointed. Listen, it'll be morning soon. You don't need to spend the day alone. Go out and have breakfast, do some shopping or maybe hang out at a coffee shop. I'll swing back by this evening to see how you're doing. Please do. I look forward to it. I've enjoyed our talk. It's been a nice escape from the tragedy that is my life. Night, interior doorway. The door opens and closes several times. Each time Srafin appears in new clothes, night after night, returning to visit with her new friend. Night int, living room. Ariel offers Srafin a glass of wine but she declines. Night after night the two talk for hours in the small apartment living room. Can I ask you something? If you don't want to answer me, it's fine. Of course. You don't really have protoporphyrin, do you? I did some boning up in one of Kevin's medical journals. Srafin looks conflicted but shakes her head no. In the technical sense, no, but my condition does share common symptoms with that disease. I didn't want to lie to you but felt it was for the best. Don't worry about it. No harm done. Your company has basically saved my life. I don't know if you noticed but I was in a bit of a crisis here. She shrugs playfully. Is it AIDS? Are you sick? You've been around for the last month and I haven't seen you touch a bite of food or drink a drop of anything. Please, I'm sorry to be so nosy, I just don't think I could bear finally having someone to share this grief with only to have them up and vanish on me. The mood turns serious. Srafin raises a hand to stop her tirade. Don't worry. It's not AIDS or hepatitis or anything other ailment you'd be familiar with. I'm not going to disappear on you. She folds her hands in her lap and prepares to share the truth for the first time. When I first visited you, I didn't come to save you. I knew what you were up to. I could smell the death in here. What are you saying? I didn't want you to go to waste, but then I got in here and saw all the parallels between us. It was like the universe was telling me that you shouldn't die, that this was my chance to change that one moment where it all falls off the tracks for someone else. I'm trying to, but I don't understand you. I am about to tell you something that no other living human knows. Forget what you think you know about the words I'm about to say to you. I was born 132 years ago and I am what you would think of as a vampire. Ariel laughs. Ah, you got me. That was an awesome setup. You're too much and you aren't laughing. Srafin remains silent a moment more then begins. Trust me when I say that being a vampire bears little resemblance to what you've seen in the movies. Ariel sits back on the couch opening her ears and her mind to all that Srafin has to say. Srafin lays out the life of a real vampire to her friend. After explaining the rules of life as a vampire and that she targets the dregs of society and avoids killing of the innocent whenever possible, Ariel offers her help. As fantastic as all this sounds, I believe you. So, thanks for not sucking my blood. The two laugh together. Ariel teaches the basic concepts of beauty makeup, changing Srafin from a pale creature into a much more warm-looking human. She also exposes Srafin to the internet for the first time. Eventually she points to an ad for an escort service and to discuss how it works. Exterior night strip mall lined street. A woman in a pink jogging suit runs briskly through the foggy empty morning street. A young man in dark clothing darts out from a corner and begins to follow her. She notices and picks up her pace. The mystery jogger follows. She tries to lose him by pouring on some speed, but is cut off when another dark-clad figure, this time a female, pops out from a side street and blocks her path. What the hell? The female smiles menacingly. Listen, I don't have any money on The female opens her mouth to reveal a gaping maw of teeth. Oh God! She screams and turns to run in the opposite direction, but the male vampire is in her face. He grabs her and tosses her to the pavement with a laugh. Please don't hurt me. Oh, don't worry, honey. We aren't going to hurt you. We're just going to kill you. She laughs and circles the pleading woman. No, please don't. I've got a family, a little boy. Give me a break, bitch. Do you really think your pathetic whining will make any difference? He snatches her up and pulls her in to bite her neck. The woman cries hysterically. Hey, you said I could have the first bite of the next one. It's my turn. No way, you know I love the brunettes. They are both distracted by a sound coming from the other end of the street. An old gray-haired man in a raincoat and hat, apparently homeless, pushes a cart down the sidewalk, humming some drunken tune. Cheer up, mama. It looks like we're having seconds. Hells, yeah. He drops the crying women and steps in front of her to shout out to the homeless man. Hey grandpa, come over here. I got a bottle of wine I don't really feel like drinking. You want it? Johnny stops his trek down the sidewalk and immediately changes course, pushing his cart into the street. The female vamp walks over with a sexy gait and rests her hands on the front of the grocery cart. Watch this shit. He'll shit his pants. He whispers to the woman crumpled beside him. I been a bad girl, daddy. You might need to spank me. She bares her fangs and growls openly at the homeless man. In a flash the man lifts a dirty umbrella from his cart. The point of the umbrella sprouts a silver spike which he plunges into her heart. What? She slumps to the ground, revealing her stunned companion, who's not quite sure what he's just seen. The woman on the ground beside him grows silent and starts to get up. Something shiny pops out of her right sleeve. Candy, are you okay? Stop playing. The vampire glares at the man and howls in anguish. You're ghost motherfucker. You can just kiss your sorry ass goodbye you. His throat can't get the word out as a blade protrudes from his Adam's apple. The woman standing behind him has transformed into a hellcat and repeatedly stabs at his torso with her blade. The vampire knocks her down easily. As he moves to crouch over here, he reacts to a crossbow bolt burying itself in his back. Move. He screams to the woman on the ground as he fully cocks the crossbow for another shot. He fires it, this time hitting the vampire in the chest off center. Rag. The vampire charges to within feet of Johnny. Your ass is mine, old man. Johnny unceremoniously tosses his crossbow to the vampire, who catches it and is momentarily stunned by this turn of events. The man's hand pulls a switch from his pocket and depresses it. A light blinks on the side of the crossbow. Predictable. He shrugs and leans away, hiding his face behind his hat as the vampire explodes into apple-sized chunks of gore. Woo-oh. Boom goes the dynamite. That's the way we do. The woman presses the spring-loaded blade back into place under her sleeve and walks over to Johnny. I don't know what you're so excited about. You nearly lost your life. I told you, it's all about the kill shot. There's no guarantee you'll get a second. You can't play with these things. He scolds her. The woman's face drops the smile and becomes serious. I'm excited because killing these puss bags is the only thing that gives me even the slightest bit of enjoyment anymore. Besides, I knew you had him dead to rights with the crossbow. What does it hurt if I take out a little rage on him? I'll sleep better tonight knowing I made that bastard's end just a little more ugly. The man finishes flicking off the chunks of vamp remains and points a bloody finger in her face. You listen to me, Nova. The day I agreed to train you, your life became my responsibility. This is not quid pro quo. It's my way or the highway. That's it? She protests. I swear I don't know why I put up with your loose cannon shit this long. Well, that's simple, John. You put up with my shit because this sweet ass makes irresistible vampire bait. She pats her bottom snappily and rests her hands on her hips in a don't mess with me stance. And you need to worry about your own shit. You aren't as fast as you used to be. You can be damn sure I will handle my end, and if I want to twist the knife once in a while, I'll twist the fucking knife. She ends her statement shouting. Johnny gets up and softens his stance a little, touching her on the shoulder. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to jerk your chain here. Anyone who's been through what you have, who's lost what you've lost. I'm just trying to say that I get it. I understand why you want to do more than just kill them, why you want to punish them as much as possible. I totally get it. And you are right, I killed twice as many of these lurker vamps using you as a lure. Just, try to keep your emotions cool. He walks over to his cart, sets it upright. Your bloodlust will get you into trouble out here flying without a wire. Just one step too far and that's the end of both of us. You need to be as cold as that blade you like so much. Okay, I hear you. Seriously. Sorry I'm being such a bitch. I'll do better next time. So, are we hunting tomorrow night? No, you need to heal up for a few days. Go home and get some rest. I think this area is played out anyway. I'll text you the rally point in a few days when it's time to hunt again. She smiles, mischievously. How about you? You gonna head home? Need me to walk you? You know the answer to that. Listen, it's not personal. I'm not a fan of all this cloak and dagger shit either, but it's for your own safety. Trust me. I do, Castor. I'll wait for your text. She turns and runs off in the direction of home. Johnny pulls out a multi-tool and walks toward the dead female vamp. Exterior night suburban home. Nova runs up to the door of one of the homes, fetches her keys from one of the bushes and enters the house. Across the street a shadowy figure looks on. Exterior night fenced storage facility. Johnny Castor, still in his homeless disguise, pushes his cart up to the gate and punches in his security pin. The gate opens and rushes through. Interior night storage facility. Johnny pushes the cart down anonymous hallways of climate-controlled storage units. He stops at one door and opens it. He enters with his cart and closes the roll-up door behind him. Interior Johnny's lair. The lights flick on to reveal a storage unit interior converted to a tactical HQ and living area. Johnny sheds his filthy homeless disguise and puts the smelly clothes in a plastic bag and stores them in a bin. His body reflects the scars of his war with the undead through numerous scars. He's changed from a pudgy warehouse manager, to a leaner hardened warrior. On his workbench a laptop displays security camera views of the storage facility. A red light mounted on the wall begins to blink as we see from various security camera views, a bald Manny carrying a grocery bag as he follows the same path to stop outside Johnny's unit door. Fagan's Organic Groceries and More Delivery Service. He says jokingly as he knocks on the door. The door doesn't move. Come on, man. I ain't got all night here. He waits a moment longer, tapping his toes impatiently. Dude, seriously. He places the bag on the ground in front of him, places his hands on his head and turns around. The door starts to rise. We see Johnny holding a crossbow on the man as he stoops and drags the bag of goods inside. Were you able to find everything on the list? Yeah, everything is there and all organic as requested. That shit ain't cheap. Don't worry about that, it's not coming out of your pocket. I don't see the chondroitin. Yeah, I went to every nutrition place in town, except that hippie joint, Health Nuts. Those people don't wash regularly and it just turns my stomach to smell hippie body stank. You know it's all like rotten hot dogs covered in fermented sauerkraut and shit. Freaking nasty, man. Anyway, I had one of the other places put in an order for it. I'll have it for you by Tuesday night. He starts to turn toward Johnny. Stop. You're a funny guy, Jonasy. You make me laugh, and that's not an easy thing to do. I'd hate to kill you. The man looks back ahead at the opposite wall. Geez. Sorry, dude. I just thought I'd earned a little bit of your trust after all this time. Oh, I trust you as much as I trust anyone, but here at Camp Castor, it's all DTA, all the time. What you don't know, can't hurt me. Copy that, but bro, but look at how I've hooked you up here. Power and the security cam feed don't come standard on these units, yeah no? I'd lose my job 10 times over and probably get locked up if they knew I was letting you live in here. Yeah, you're a real Samaritan, letting me live in here and not even charging me. I guess that means you won't be interested in tonight's grab bag. Now hold on, Castor. I didn't say that. This kind of anonymity doesn't come cheap, and I have 3 hungry mouths to feed. Johnny laughs and tosses the man a bag. Dirk picks up the bag and peeks inside. It's filled with a plastic baggie of gold-filled teeth, random jewelry, and bloodied bills of all denominations. He smiles. Okay, this'll work. So I'll be back when the chondroitin gets in. Good chatting with you, bro. He tries to sound like he's being heard, but the door is completely closed by the time he stops talking. And, I'm out. Exterior night. Nova's bedroom window. A woman dressed in black stands silently outside Nova's bedroom window, watching her prepare for bed. Interior night. Nova's bedroom. A woman wearing a towel sat by her mirror, brushing her hair. A car alarm begins to blare from her driveway. She disappears into the bathroom for a moment and comes out wearing a bathroom, then swiftly exits the room. Exterior night. Nova's driveway. Nova moves carefully out of her front door and over to the car sitting in her driveway. She thumbs the key to the car's remote and the alarm stops. A voice behind from over her shoulder makes her jump visibly. Now this seems too easy somehow. I've been led to believe you were a bit more raw. Nova turns and her robe flows open, but instead of naked wet flesh, a custom corset, fit with throwing knives, is underneath. In one smooth motion, Nova lets fly 2 handfuls of the silver blades. Seraphine appears to move just enough to miss the bulk of them. One of the blades finds a home in her upper chest. That's more like it. She pulls the blade out and lets it clank to the driveway. Nova has negotiated her car door by now and pulls out a sawed-off shotgun. She levels on the vampire and fires, but there is nothing there for the pellets to hit. Over here, sweetheart. Nova turns to see Seraphine standing by a large city collection garbage bin. He hand rests behind the bin. As Nova turns the barrel toward the vampire hurls the bin in her direction. Nova gets off a shot before the can knocks her flat. Seraphine holds Nova's crumpled body up and lifts her face. She glares at her with black eyes and speaks in a voice clearly being affected by her vampire powers surfacing. Invite me inside. It's time for us girls to have a little chat about your friend. Get fucked, you dead bitch. Seraphine laughs cruelly. Now is that any way to speak to a guest? She stabs her nails into the side of Nova's face and pulls away a strip of skin. Nova screams in agony. Invite me inside. Now. You'll just kill me. If I wanted to kill you, I could do so easily, right here. Now, this is my final request. Invite me into your home or I'll take something you'll miss more than a small strip of skin. She points a talon at Nova's eye. The injured woman visibly breaks. Come inside. She whimpers. Interior Johnny's lair. We see time lapse as Johnny goes through the mundane duties of servicing his assorted weapons, crossbow, bombs, etc. He sleeps, eats various vegetarian meals, drinks lots of water, takes supplements, sleeps and exercises. We notice him making a veggie shake with lots of ingredients, including a small vial of dark red liquid. Johnny walks over to a map on the wall and inspects one of the red tacks punched into a hunt location. He sits at the laptop and opens Skype chat window. A variety of silly names are listed in his contact window. He selects Animefan 99 and send a chat message. It says, "The fair's in town. Time for a turkey shoot." His cursor blinks and Johnny sits back waiting on the response. Finally, Animefan 99 responds with, "On my way." Johnny stares at the screen blankly for a split second in shock. God in heaven. He rapidly opens a group message to 3 other contacts. Rada_Wrathchild, Big Ol' Truck and Honky Maggot Farmer 33. Johnny types and sends the message. "People, we have a black flag at the circus. Move your asses." Rada_Wrathchild and Big Ol' Truck respond with "Roger Wilco." Honky Maggot Farmer 33 responds with. Johnny, clearly upset with Honky Maggot Farmer 33's message, stabs out the following test. Hunter failed passphrase verification. Likely under duress. Execute heavy hand maneuver on rally point #6. Honky Maggot Farmer 33 responds with, "Sorry. Roger Wilco." Johnny suits up with all his weaponry and black fatigues. This time no disguise. He leaves hurriedly. EXT Night Sawmill. A woman sits in the middle of the mill road, duct tapes to a chair. Her face is partially obscured by hair and she appears to have been beaten and tortured for days. A small toy tank approached her. It's outfitted with a video camera and mic. When it gets within a few paces it stops. Johnny comes on the tank's screen. "Nova. Can you hear me?" For a long moment the woman doesn't move. Eventually she lifts her head slightly to peer at the tank's screen. One of her eyes has been ripped out and one side of her face is stripped almost clean of flesh. "I'm sorry, Castor." EXT Night Sawmill. Johnny's hiding place. Johnny stares into his iPhone and sees the video feedback of Nova. "You've got nothing to be sorry for. I'm gonna get you out of this." EXT Night Sawmill. She shakes her head side to side. "No. I'm all messed up. Don't miss your opportunity. The mission is all that matters." "Hell no. Damn it, I'm not going to do that. We'll get you out of this and they'll patch you up. You're going to be fine." She smiles through the obvious pain. "I've seen my final sunrise and I'm good with that. Listen, this one is different, stronger, faster." With that, several black-clad shapes appear all around the women and the toy tank. Now, little Nova. That's just about enough. We don't want to spoil the surprise." She walks over to the tank and stoops to get closer to its camera. "And you there? Hello. I'm Seraphin and I'd really like for you to come out and talk with me." EXT Night Sawmill. Johnny's hiding place. Johnny's thumb caresses a detonation device but doesn't press the button. "Listen, just let her go and I'll give myself up." EXT Night Sawmill. The woman gets up and walks over to the woman duct taped to the chair. "Now see, you're making the assumption that I'm here to kill you. Actually, I'm not." She uses a sharp talon to cut through the tape on the girl's wrists. Nova slumps to the ground. "See. She's free to go. I just wanted to arrange for us to have a little chat. Clearly, you're a force to be reckoned with considering how many of my kindred you've disposed of. I just want us to find a way to stop the violence." Nova slowly works her way over to the toy tank. EXT Night Sawmill. Johnny's hiding place. Johnny mutes the tank's audio and presses a throat comm piece. "Honky, get ready to light this bitch up. The males might be confused enough to give you time for a second shot. The rest of you close to kill range and take out whoever's left. I'm going for Nova." His earpiece squawks and the responses come back. "Roger. Roger. Wilco." EXT Night Sawmill. Sniper perch. Honky Maggot Farmer 33, a large black man in black fatigues, thumbs off the safety and slips his finger over the trigger of his rifle. His scopes cross hairs. Honky Maggot Farmer 33. "She's mine. I'm ready to send this one to Jesus on your fire. Ext Night Sawmill. Seraphine listens to the night as if her vampire ears have detected something. Ext Night Sawmill. Johnny's hiding place. Johnny unmutes the tank's audio. All right, I'm listening. Seraphine's face talks from the iPhone. What I propose is simply this. You leave my kind alone and I don't kill you and everyone you've ever crossed paths with. You've been clever enough to learn more about us than really any human. Surely, you've realized that nothing so simple as a bite can create a new vampire. It's in my interest to manage our numbers, and if we cull the human population from time to time, well, that's just part of the circle of life now, isn't it? Sure, I can do that. Let's all just get along. With that he leaves his phone on the ground and runs off in the direction of the road. Ext Night Sawmill. Nova has gone unnoticed by the vamps as she carefully turned over the tank and pulls out 2 wires from its explosive payload underneath. She strips the wires with her teeth and holds them in her hands. A few hundred yards from the group, Johnny appears on the road running toward them. Get ready. It's about to go down. She commands the escorting vamps. Honky, fire at will. He says as he thumbs his throat compiece. Nova pulls herself up to her knees and now clutches the tank in her arms. Stay back. She screams. Ext Night Sawmill Sniper Perch. Honky Maggot Farmer 33 moves the crosshairs onto Seraphine's head and slowly squeezes the trigger. The bullet flies out of the barrel in slow motion. Ext Night Sawmill. Seraphine and the escort vamps react to Nova. One of the male vamps makes a dash for her. What the hell? She hears the bullet approaching and moves her head slightly to the side as it flies past her face, moving her hair. Nova turns towards Seraphine. Suck on this bitch. She places the 2 wires together and they spark. No. The tank ignites and an explosion that rocks the vicinity. Seraphine is faster than the fire and dashes out of sight. Johnny is knocked backwards from the blast. Nova and the dashing vampire are obliterated. The remaining male vamp howls at the pain of his face half burned in the blast. Big Ol' Truck emerges from behind a nearby building. In his hands he holds an extended light anti-tank weapon. He quickly raises the law and fires in the direction of the half-burned vamp. The vampire, Drake, is just fast enough to swat the 60mm round, redirecting it into a nearby building. His body badly in need of blood to repair itself, he turns to Big Ol' Truck and screams. You missed, lunchbox. Now I'm gonna drain you dry. Rata_Wrathchild emerges from another alley wielding a compound bow with explosive tipped arrows. She lets an arrow fly. It strikes Drake in the back. He runs 2 more steps before it detonates, blowing him to pieces. Fast-moving vampire reinforcements arrive on the scene and surround Johnny as he struggles to get back to his feet. Holding one arm, which appears to be burned and broken to his side, he pulls a machete and swings wildly to keep the nearest one at bay. The vamp's chest bursts open and a hole replaces the center of his torso. He looks down in disbelief and slumps to the ground. Rata_Wrathchild dispatches another with an explosive arrow. Its legs standing a moment without the torso before toppling. Johnny manages to get a machete into the leg of one of the new vamps on the scene. It howls in pain just before its head explodes from a sniper round. Ext Night Sawmill Sniper Perch. Honky Maggot Farmer 33 ejects another round and reloads. My, said the spider to the blood-sucking pussbag vampire fly. This work is easy. He sings to himself. Behind him we see Seraphine dash onto his platform. Int Night Sawmill. A dark shape dashes across the basement floor and exposed catwalks. Ext Night Sawmill. Rata_Wrathchild and Big Ol' Truck converge on an exhausted Johnny. Rata helps him to his feet while Big Ol' Truck covers the surrounding area with his LAW. Well, that didn't exactly go as planned, Castor. Yeah, no shit. They had us scoped from go. So what now, do we fall back to the rally point? This was a mistake. I should have never involved any of you. Listen, don't go home, destroy your phones and bug out. There's no way of knowing how deep that got, so we are completely compromised here, people. The woman looks concerned. How will you contact us? I won't. I only recruited you because your lives were destroyed by vamps. I knew you'd want revenge. He stares at the black burn mark that used to be Nova. I used you. I used you as pawns in my own endgame. I'm sorry for that. We've got nowhere to go and no one to go back to. You've got your lives and that's something. If you stay around me you'll end up just like Nova. Shit. You don't have to tell me twice. Nice knowing you, people. The big man jogs off into the night to disappear. Honky, confirm. We're bugging out. EXT Night Sawmill Sniper Perch. Honky Maggot Farmer 33 lays lifeless slumped over his scope. His heart lays beside his body and his earpiece squawks with Johnny's unheard order. Honky, come back. Honky. Come on back. EXT Night Sawmill. Johnny looks up in disgust and wipes some of the soot from his face as he realizes they've lost another team member. Damn it. No. That's it. It's down to just us. If you don't move your ass right now we'll both be joining them. Rada grabs his arm trying to hold onto him. Wait. Just wait a damn minute. I just wanted to say. Look. I know, all right. I know. Just go. Quick now. The two embrace for a moment and then head off in different directions. Seraphin walks out of the steam of a nearby lumber curing building and watches Johnny disappear around the corner of a building. Interior Johnny's lair. Johnny furiously types the kill code sequence into a DOS command window on his laptop. The red alert light flashes on a nearby monitor. He sees Dirk entering the building and heading down the halls to his unit. No way this is coincidence. He retrieves a dead man's switch, considers it a moment and then depresses the lever and flips the live toggle. He hits enter on the keypad and the kill code begins its work on his drives. Interior Johnny's containment unit. Johnny enters, barely able to stand, and hits a light switch. In the center of the unit we can barely make up a woman's feet. She is chained to a chair. The woman appears to shuffle in her chains but doesn't speak. Her eyes seem to glow in the darkness. Johnny opens a back sitting by the wall and withdraws an large syringe. He ties off his damaged arm with a rubber hose and slaps his vein. The mystery woman in the chair growls softly. EXT Storage Complex. Seraphin stands outside the complex at a distance and watches the injured Johnny disappear inside. She looks around her and notices the complex manager's apartment. A man is just getting out of his car and heading up the steps. In storage complex manager's apartment. Dirk Jones has a bachelor's feast laid out before him. Chicken wings, root beet, and pizza cover his kitchen counter. He's hard at work on a margarita in his blender and fusses with various ingredients, intermittently tapping the blend button. Where is your pride? Are you broken inside? He sings along with the song playing on his boom box. There's a knock at his door and he walks over to answer it with a drink in his hand. He opens it to see Seraphin with her most innocent lost girl expression. Hi there. I'm really sorry to bother you, but my car has got a flat a block down the street and I don't have a spare. Would it be possible for me to use your phone? Mine ran out of minutes like an hour ago and I didn't get a chance to get a new card yet. Dirk looks past her and around for a boyfriend or hanger-on before adjusting his expression and laying on his best smooth guy voice. Well, hell yes mama. Come right in. The phone's right there on the counter. We might even be able to negotiate a ride to Wally World for a new tire. As soon as the invitation leaves his mouth she snaps out a white hand and strikes him in the throat. Dirk flies back onto his sofa, gasping for air and holding his throat. Seraphin bursts through the door in her first stage vampire look. Oh, we can work something out, You greasy bastard, but there won't be any negotiating and you're probably not going to like our arrangement. Now come here, jerk meat. I need you to do something for me. She snaps him up and digs her fangs into his neck. Dirk screams like a woman and swats at the vampire as she drinks in his life's blood, before slowly passing out. Interior Johnny's lair hallway. Dirk Jones turns the corner to find a loaded up Johnny waiting at the other end of the hallway, his arm apparently healed, head down. Hey man, glad to see you've decided to finally trust me enough to let you see your face. Johnny slowly raises his head. Is that what's happening here? It's kind of an odd hour to be paying a visit. Yeah, well, the fight is on and I just thought I'd swing by and see if you wanted to come up to the office and catch a little MMA action. Dirk Phantom boxes a few blows in the air and smiles nervously. Because I'm always so sociable. You could at least make an attempt to be believable. Dirk walks a few steps closer as he talks. Well, I just thought me might get tired of spending all your time in a dark room with no windows. Getting out a little bit would be good for you, right? Listen, Dirk. I'm sorry. I really mean that. What are you talking about, Castor? Sorry for what? Johnny smiles as Dirk slinks closer. I can't help noticing that you're white as a sheet. Dirk shrugs and continues moving close to Johnny like he wants to give him a hug. You know something's happening but you don't know what it is. Do you? As Dirk gets almost within arm's distance, Johnny pulls custom stake-firing sawed-off shotgun-shaped weapon from behind his back with his free hand. Mr. Jones. Dirk's face turns vampiric and he hisses, just prior to the stake firing itself into his head. From the other end of the hall clapping is heard. Seraphin walks around the corner. In a flash she is standing before Johnny. Son of a bitch. You're the bastard who staked me back in '92. I've got a tip for you, mister. The next time you stake a vampire through the heart, leave the stake in, idiot. Johnny points the gun at her, but quick as light she snatches it from his hand and tosses it aside. She pulls him up by the throat fast and he starts to chuckle. What's so damn funny? I'm about to rip your fucking throat out, you troublesome prick. I knew you'd want to gloat. Predictable. He raises the dead man's switch and starts to release the grip. She wraps her hand around his before he can release the trigger. You didn't see that coming, did you, Mr. Smartypants? Over her shoulder we see a black shape with vampire speed fly up behind her and grab her around both arms. Hands off my man, slut. Grrrah. Release me, I command it. As if I'd take orders from a skank like you. Who the hell are you? Well, I'm Mrs. Johnny Castor. Can't that I'm pleased to meet you. You were wondering how I knew so much about the bloodsuckers. Interior Johnny's containment unit. In a black and white dream from the past, Johnny approached the bound Katie with knife in hand. He slowly takes the knife to her chained forearm. What's going on, John? What are you doing with that knife? John slashing the knife across her forearm and watches the wound grow shut before their eyes. Ouch! She cries. Johnny looks intensely interested in her healing capabilities. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny's clothes have changed, but all else remains the same. He walks toward Katie with a pair of pliers. John, I'm not a piece of meat for you to poke and prod. I'm not doing this to torture you. You think I enjoy this? It has to be done. I need to know all I can about your condition. Johnny isolates one of her overlong fingernails. Katie tries to twist her head away to avoid seeing what's coming. John, please don't. John pulls the nail out by the roots. The nail bleeds profusely before a brand new nail pops out to replace it. Well, how about that? He holds her finger up to the light and inspects it closely. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny's clothes have changed but all else remains the same. He walks toward Katie with a pair of wire snips. John, I'm not kidding. Get the fuck away from me with those. She bares her fangs and growls, but that doesn't deter Johnny, who snips one of her fingers off with wire snipes. Katie howls in agony. Fuck, that hurts like a bitch. The stump spurts blood a few times and a new finger grows out of the stump. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny in yet another outfit brings a propane torch toward Katie, who's still chained in the chair. John, this has to stop. I can't take you tearing me apart like this. You'll heal. I'm sure of it. He puts the flame to her arm and she gives up a howl of torment. This time the arm doesn't heal and her face has changes to a more sickly complexion filled with dark black veins. She can barely hold her head up. Fade to black/fade in. Int hospital hallway. Johnny, dressed in scrubs, slips out of a door marked, blood bank. He has a gym bag strapped over his shoulder. He looks both ways and hurries down the hall. Interior Johnny's containment unit. Johnny carefully unstraps one of Katie's arms and places a blood collection bag in her hand. She bares fangs and tears into it, eating greedily. Oh God, that's so good. She looks at her hand, which has magically healed itself from any trace of having been burned. John nods and smiles. I knew it. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny rolls his sleeves and walks over to Katie, who by now seems to have accepted what's coming. I want to see how you handle superficial injuries. He starts to beat her with his fists. She takes it without a word, all the while glaring at him and occasionally spitting out excess blood from her wounds. Johnny looks down at his battered hands and notices that the cuts on his own knuckles are healing themselves after coming in contact with the blood from Katie's lip. Holy shit. He stares at his knuckles. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny's clothes have changed again. This time he sits beside Katie, brushing her hair affectionately. I know that we've had our differences, but you didn't deserve this, Katie. Can you please unchain me? Eventually. I have to work this out where we can keep things safe, but you can never leave this room. I understand, John. As long as you keep me fed, I think I can control it. Fade to black/fade in. The room has changed to include a bed in the corner, a dresser with brushes and makeup, a rake with clothing, a TV and DVD player, a game system, stuffed animals. Johnny sits in a chair and watches a movie while Katie sits on the bed, tethered to a chain by the ankle which keeps from reaching him. Fade to black/fade in. Johnny turns on a light with his working arm. His other arm is burned from the sawmill battle and badly broken. Syringe in hand, he goes over to Katie, who walks out from the bed to meet him. The end has finally come, my dear. I won't be coming back. What is it, John? Johnny breaks down a little, cries in his hand a short moment. Everything is utterly fucked. The people who made you this way. They've won. Most of the team are dead and death will be knocking at my door any minute now. I'm so sorry. All of this was for nothing. That's not true, John. You've saved countless lives, there's no doubt of that. Johnny starts to use the syringe to draw her blood but has trouble negotiating it with one hand. Here. Let me. Katie takes the syringe and draws her blood, then hands the syringe back to Johnny. Johnny injects his wounded arm, which starts to heal. I know I should end you. I know it's irresponsible of me, but I just can't do it. He produces a key and squats to unchain her ankle. The two embrace for a long moment. The air is thick with their last goodbye. Do me a favor and try not to kill anyone who doesn't deserve it. She laughs a little through her tears. I'll try to be good. The two hold each other a few moments more. Johnny gently pushes her back. Now go. I have to get ready for my guests. I love you, John. Goodbye. She lightly touches his face, then dashes out of the containment bin at a blinding speed. Interior Johnny's lair hallway. Katie chops down on Seraphine's forearm, causing her to lose her grip on Johnny's hand. Johnny released the dead man's switch. She screams in anger, swats Katie aside and throws him into the wall. As she turns to run out the way she came in, Katie runs to Johnny's side and holds him in her arms. The hallway fills with fire, which rises in her eyes and then flashes down the hall to cover everyone. EXT storage complex. Fire and smoke billow out of the main complex of climate-controlled units. A human Seraphine stands gazing at the burning building almost in a daze. Anjini walks into view and takes her hand. The two embrace, smiling. Now you are free, my child. Is this a dream? It's no dream. The Ujjig could only live through your flesh. Now that flesh is undone and only your spirit remains. Seraphine shakes her head. No, I became the monster. After so long I begin to appreciate my endless night. I killed countless innocents and spawn more like me. I lost myself and became the mother of vampires. I can't be forgiven. All of that evil was the other within you. You are forgiven and the long night is over. Seraphine cries tears of joy as Anjini speaks of her forgiveness. Dawn breaks the night sky and the two walk hand in hand into the distance and slowly dematerialize.